Hey guys, in today's video, we'll go over how to install glass into our Flex series. Before installing the glass, make sure the glass is measured for properly per our glass measuring guide. As long as the glass is measured for properly, it will fit. The three main things we need when installing the glass is a suction cup, trim tags, which are cut off pieces of Flex trim. These will be used to temporarily hold the glass in place until the full length of piece of trim are installed, and your rubber mallet. In this video, we'll go over multiple different installation situations when installing glass into our Flex series. The first opening we'll start with is the opening receiving full height glass. This glass will run from floor track to ceiling track. Wherever you have full height glass, make sure to install 1/2 inch shims into the floor track. When installing the 1/2 inch shims for full height glass, make sure to have 2 shims per pane of glass. The shims do come in longer lengths and they can be cut in half. We just need to make sure the shim is long enough for the glass to rest on. To install the shim, take a flat bar and place it into the open channel between the glazing bead and the Flex track. Once open, you can then press the shim into the floor track. Once in place, you can then move the shim to the location you need it. We typically put them on the corners of the glass. To install a full height piece of glass, we'll go up into the ceiling track first, press the glass against the studs, and drop the glass onto the 1/2 inch shims in the floor track. Once the glass is resting on the 1/2 inch shims in the floor track, the top of the glass should still be in the ceiling track. Now, if you run into a situation where you have a small gap at the top of the glass, we send 1/8 inch shims that can be added to the 1/2 inch shims in the floor track to bring the glass up. Now, you can only put about 1/4 inches worth of shim into the floor track before the glass will come out of the floor track. So I'll go ahead and install this piece of glass. With the glass installed, I can now install trim tags to temporarily secure the glass in place. Now in this situation, I will only install tags on that side of the opening. If I install tags onto this side of the opening, it will prevent me from installing this piece of glass. This is something to keep in mind when determining the order in which the glass is installed. The next piece of glass we will be installing is the glass going into this opening. This piece of glass will run from floor track to horizontal stud. For this situation, we will not be adding any shims into the floor track. If measured properly, the glass will rest in the floor track and come up to the horizontal stud. Now, if you run into a situation where the glass is a little bit short, we can add shims into the floor track to lift the glass up to the horizontal stud. The most important thing we need to make sure of is that when we install the Flex trim, it's going to cover the top edge of that glass and secure that glass in place. Before installing this piece of glass, make sure to have trim tags and your hammer ready to go to temporarily secure the glass in place. The reason being is because this piece of glass will not have anything to hold it in place except for the trim tags. The tags will also allow us to install the remaining pieces of glass until we can install the full length pieces of trim. To install this piece of glass, we'll place it into the floor track first, press it against the vertical and horizontal studs, and then we'll use our trim tags to temporarily secure the piece of glass in place. We want to place the tags where it's not going to interfere with the other pieces of glass that we are going to install. The next piece of glass we will be installing is a piece of glass going within this opening. This piece of glass will be up in the ceiling track and resting on the horizontal stud. If measured properly, when the glass is resting on the horizontal stud, it'll be up in the ceiling track. If you have a situation where the glass is a little short, you can add in shims to the horizontal stud to lift up that glass. However, you're only going to be limited to about an 1/8 inch shim. Again, the most important thing is to make sure that flex trim is going to secure that piece of glass in place. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and install this piece of glass. To install this piece of glass, we'll lift it up into the ceiling track first, press it against the flex studs, and drop it onto the horizontal flex stud. Once installed, we'll take our trim tags to temporarily secure the piece of glass. The last piece of glass we will be installing is the piece of glass going within this opening. This piece of glass will be surrounded by flex studs on all 4 sides. If measured for properly, there will be a nice tight fit at the top of the opening and on each side. If you run into a situation where the glass is too short or needs to be shifted to one side or the other, you can use an 1/8 inch shim. Again, the goal here is to make sure the flex trim is going to secure the glass on all 4 sides. To install this piece of glass, press the glass against the flex studs. To assist with the installation, install a trim tag on the bottom horizontal stud. This will allow you to rest the glass on the bottom stud while you install the trim tags around the opening. Once your glass panels are installed, you can then go around and install your full length pieces of trim. As a reminder, we always run our vertical trim first and then our horizontal trim. As you're installing the trim, make sure the trim is properly covering the glass panels. If needed, you can shift the glass left to right in order to allow the trim to cover properly. So that will be the conclusion of the video. If you have any questions, please contact our office.